AmandaLand, AmandaLand, AmandaLand. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Views from AmandaLand, your news and truths by any joke necessary. Thank you for waking up on the right side of history. It is.
Israel might be controlling your favorite influencer.
This is our guest today. This is Hood, but I'm not Hood, but this is just janky right here. But we have Kei Pritzer joining us today.
Here's something sweet. When Benjamin Netanyahu came to DC to meet.
And we also have Maureen Thomas joining us today. Hold on.
The Yemeni have now responded. They sent a missile directly into the current airspace as flights tried to continue to resume, going directly to the Ben Gurion. But as of right now, there was a flight that was forced out of the airspace due to a Yemeni.
So I love the uniqueness of our guests. I really think that we doing it. I really think we're doing it, y'all. I really think we're doing it. And hold on. I have temporarily returned to Instagram with the wave of violence that's going on right now and the way that it's picking up. And you know what I gotta say? Instagram is super ignorant. It's like super ignorant. And I know a lot of people are only on Instagram. And I got to tell you, that's a rough way to go. Because you're just surrounded by so much ignorance all the time. And so it's like, if you're choosing to just stay at Instagram, you're really harming yourself. There are other places to be where you can have a much more intellectual, compassionate community. So I just want to point that out, like whether that's Substack or whether that's subscribing to someone's Patreon, whether it's mine or someone else's, or, even within the community here at Views from AmandaLand, I just find it odd, because the level of ignorance at Instagram is very supported by each other. Like they each kind of delete on each other. They all like lean on each other. And it's just, and what's, by the way, like it made me say like, dang, I guess I kind of need to be here in this moment to kind of break through that and maybe bring some people away from it. Just bring some people away from it. I mean, I know on my Instagram, I unfollowed a lot of individuals. I just have like, I follow more news and folks who are about protests and things like that. But I will tell you that the way that people are in my comments and just living in ignorance is like, it's odd to me. And I want to believe they're bots. I want to believe they're bots. I'm like, please be a bot. Because you sound nuts. You sound nuts. Please be a bot. But that really be it. Like, they really out here. So I just want everybody who's watching that maybe only came over here from Instagram, like, please stay over here. And you can also subscribe to my Patreon, which is a great community. It's $5 a month. But subscribe to my Patreon at the SEAL Squad, and if y'all saw what my cat just did, because I scared him on accident, bro, I was trying to move this so that you could come up here, and you gonna jump like that? That was hilarious. Come on over. Come on over. I mean, it's legit, like, and what is the obsession with continuously bringing up Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris is not a part of the conversation anymore. Y'all, do you even see Kamala Harris anywhere? Kamala Harris is not an organizer. Kamala Harris is not a leader. Okay? Kamala Harris is not going to save you, and she was never going to save you because now you need saving and she's nowhere to be found. And you might tell yourself, well, that's because she's a black woman and she's tired. Baby, no. Fannie Lou Hamer said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, and then continued to do the work. Ella Baker, Diane Nash, myself. Like, please. And by the way, she supported ICE. So this whole like one, and the other part of it is that y'all be acting like y'all want Jesus. You know, you want somebody that's going to come and save you, knowing that the masses were in support of the Romans. Jesus was, no one went and you know, saved Jesus from the crucifixion. Dr. Martin Luther King died depressed. He was murdered depressed because his people did not rock with him like that. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. So when all of y'all be out here really wanting a leader, you don't want a leader, because the minute you get a leader, you actually tear them down or you ignore them. So cut it out. And y'all ain't gonna do that to me. No, you not. Not you, no. And then you be like, well, Kamala wasn't going to do this like this. She was still going to do it, though. They was already doing it. And it doesn't matter. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, is that it doesn't matter. Like, that is a key to, it doesn't matter. And I also want to point out that people keep saying, Amanda told us not to vote for Kamala. Show me the quote. If someone can produce a video or a quote where I said, don't vote for Kamala, I will give you $100 cash. Find it and send it to me. Please. Find it and send it to me. Where did I say don't vote for Kamala? I do not endorse candidates. And let me tell y'all the wild part. The wild part is that what I was saying was that you all need to make demands of Kamala for the black community. That's what I did say. And they were mad at me for saying that. They were mad at me for pointing out the ways in which Kamala was harming the success of her campaign. I said, shit. But they keep running this, though. They keep running this. It keeps being a point of contention, y'all. Ain't you the one that said don't vote for Kamala? No. The same way I never accused that man of sexually assaulting me. The same way I never admitted to lying about that man sexually assaulting me. Like, the amount of times words are put in my mouth, the amount of shit that I say that you have a legitimate reason to feel some type of way about, but that you choose not to because it actually is the truth. Y'all be mad about things I didn't say. So, you know, y'all be mad about things I didn't say all day. And I want you to know that it won't work. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. No, it won't work. No. As long as I got Wi-Fi, I'm going to do what I do. And if they kill the Wi-Fi, I'm going to write notes. And if they take my pen, I'm going to do sign language. And if they cut off my arms, I'm going to do Morse code. So miss me with it, with all of it. And I know folks love to be like, oh, so you're comparing yourself to Jesus and to Martin Luther King and to Malcolm X? Yep. Because I live in their steps. I walk in their steps every day. And so if I walk in their steps, I must consider that I will die in their steps. Ba-dum-bum. So there's that. Okay. Now we got that squared away. Man, we have a beautiful show today. Very excited about our guests. Very excited to be back home. I'm going to talk later about the Freedom Ride that I've been on for the past few days, and just how fortunate I am to be in the company of such what's the word I'm even looking for? Such expansive folks. Expansive is my word these days. Expansive. The concept of expanding is really like, I feel like that's what I'm looking at as like a North Star way of challenging this fascist administration. Expanding, like that is the one that I keep coming back to. You know, if you're watching on Instagram, please come over to youtube.com Amanda Seales TV so you can experience the show in its fullness. And when you come over here, please greet the chat and say, I came here from Instagram, so that everybody can welcome you in. This is a community over here. We over here are a community, and we are continuously building community. And it is imperative that we do that in real ways. Meg Collier is back. I saw Marquise up in here. Nasra was back last week. I saw Raquel up in here. I saw Ross up in here. Andretta's up in here. The kids is here, all right? Jonathan Gonzalez, Humera is up in here. The folks is here, okay? We in here. We are in here. We are family. Yes, Sandy, that's right. We are family. Hey, hey, hey. Rest in peace to the great Sly Stone, because we are everyday people. Yeah, yeah. Different strokes for different folks. So on and shooby dooby dooby. I mean, I think that's Sly, y'all. I know this is Jimmy, but I think that's Sly. I think that's Sly on my shirt. Vanessa said the double mics have her. Let's get into our reviews from AmandaLand roll call, shall we? Shout out to everybody joining us here at Views from AmandaLand, Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern at YouTube, Amanda Seales TV. Come on and join us. AmandaLanders here to learn. Drop in and tell me where you're watching from. We wake up on the right side of history every goddamn day. AmandaLanders here to learn. Hey, drop in and tell me where you're watching from. Let's do it. Arizona, DMV, Atlanta, the occupied Tejas. We got Reese in London, Pat's in San Diego. We got Antia in España, Sugarland, Texas. We got Book Jerome in China. We got Kampala, Uganda. We got Kimberly out there in South LA. We got Aloha from the Bay. Shout out to you, Summer. We got Puerto Rico, Wepa, Duval, Columbus, OHIO, the Pits in Germany, Vermont. We got another person in Spain. We got Santa Clarita. We got Lima, Peru. We got the Upper East Side, New York. We got Oakland in the hospital. Regina, feel better. We got Newark, New Jersey. We got The Hague. We got Rio de Janeiro. Tall and tan and young and handsome, the boy from Ipanema goes walking, and when he passes, I smile, but he doesn't see. We got Miami. We got Legoland, Compton, Merlin, Philly, Chicago, Houston, Texas, Long Beach, California. We got Tahiti. Exactly, Rolando. Tahiti. Now, we ain't never had no Tahiti up in here. We got to get out the map. Ricky in Wiley, Alabama. What else we got? We got Mars. Thank you for telling me where you're watching from. Yeah, 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 yeah. Love it. Love it. If you are on the Instagram, get off of there. Get off of there. Go to YouTube, Amanda Seals TV. Get off of here and come over here. This is where we at. This is where we're living, and this is where we are live. Okay, y'all, I got the map. Because we got to... Kathy Figueroa is in San Diego, and she came over from Instagram. Y'all, welcome Kathy into the building. Alyssa came over from IG. Welcome Alyssa in the building. And when you come in, make sure to hit that like button. Dana's in the building from IG. Yeah. Come on over from Instagram. Get over here. Get over here. Jermel K from Instagram. Get over here. Yes, when you come over from Instagram, we will welcome you into the room. We will welcome you in. Because that's what we do over here. We are about love. We are about connection. We are also about not telling me what to do. Y'all will learn quick. Don't tell Amanda what to do. Nope, she don't like that. She don't like that. Is you rolling? Yeah, might be. Okay. Let's see. We said Tahiti. Okay, welcome over, Sharice. Welcome over. Ross, let him know. I am the teacher. I will cuss you out. Okay. Happy to report that What Would the Ancestors Say? My one-woman show will be performing once a month, August through November, at the People's Forum in New York City. Okay. Wow! Thank you, Mr. Nick! Wow! And welcome over from Instagram. I love seeing y'all do the exodus from Instagram. I love it. And see, and the folks in the chat, they like, welcome. Come on. This is what it is. This is what it is. Loving all these new faces, right, Fatima? Love it. Okay, where is Tahiti? I should know that. AmandaLanders here to learn. Tahiti is over here, right? Tahiti is over here by in the Southern Pacific Ocean by somebody gonna give me the answer when I look up. Watch. Where's Tahiti, y'all? French Polynesian. Okay. I hate that we're calling it French Polynesian. Because that's just straight up colonization. All right, I'm looking at Malaysia. I'm looking at Papua New Guinea. I'm looking at New Caledonia. I'm looking at Vanuatu, Fiji, Tonga, Tuvalu, Guam, Palau. Y'all, why can't I find Tahiti? It's about halfway between California and Australia. You said move east. Yeah, I don't think they got Tahiti on this map. I don't think they got Tahiti on this map. Because it should be down here, right? So we just gonna go over here. That's Tahiti. Okay, that's Tahiti. Oh, we got somebody else from IG. Yay! Oh, Tahiti is in Fiji. Why did I know that? I thought Tahiti was a country. Ooh, I sound a mess right now. Tahiti is not a country. Tahiti is in Fiji. Is that accurate? Am I learning today? Tahiti is in Fiji. Ooh, didn't know that. East from Fiji, not Fiji. Oh, okay. I was going to say, like, I didn't know that. All right. It's east from Fiji. That means it's over here in the mix right here. Okay, this is how we know the world ain't flat. Find New Zealand, move up and to the right. So that's what I did. That's what I did. Look, this is New Zealand. Move up and and then I fell off the map. And then I fell off the goddamn map. Ain't that something? I fell off the map. Well, you're here in AmandaLand. You may have fallen off that map, but you're here in AmandaLand. Okay, and we're still welcoming people from IG. Listen, if I miss welcoming you on the screen, I apologize. You know, the chat just keep moving, and I'm doing a show, and we're gonna do our word of the day quickly because one of our guests is already here. The lovely, real Godiva goddess is already here. Okay. So let's get into our word of the day. She's just smiling and smiling. Maureen, one thing about Maureen, she gonna smile. Maureen be giving you the most terrible news with a grin. She be like, these people are killing everybody, y'all. Oh my God. I'm like, it's terrible, but you're beautiful. But it's terrible. Yes, it is terrible. Yes. Okay, actually, this is the perfect word. Oh my God, this is the perfect word. The word of the day is acclamation, which is a noun that means a shout of welcome. Oh my God, that's the perfect word for the mood we're in. Acclamation, ACCLAMATION. Okay, and so we are giving a shout of welcome to all of the Instagrammers that are coming over here to YouTube, Amanda Seales TV. Those who have decided, let's go to the community. Those who have decided, let me stop listening to people talk shit about Amanda and actually listen to what she's saying before I talk shit. If you come to an Amanda Seales show and after you're still talking shit, fine. But if you haven't, baby, you just want to talk shit. And that's a reflection of your own issues. And I think you would be better served going to therapy. All right, let's get into it. Who can use acclamation in a sentence? Well, first of all, Kismet has got us with some etymology. Acclamation, mid-16th century, from Latin, acclamation, from acclamare, shout at. And then later it turned into shout in approval. All right, so when we say bravo, bravo, that is acclamation. When I yell, okay, polka dots, that is acclamation, okay? Have a good day, Zoo. Catch you on the replay. All right, yes, Pantara Villarreal says, coming from IG gets you an acclamation. That's right. Mr. Nicka Jack Dam said, I received a warm acclamation soon as I got my ass over from IG. That is correct. Cat is correct. Who else? Nadaleje says, we are in a state of acclamation to all IGers who are in this chat. For sure, for sure, for sure. Morel Copeland, I love all of Miss Amanda Seales' acclamations to the AmandaLand family. Ross says, I refuse to acclimate the fascist domination and silence. Acclamation is acceptance of oppression. Is it? Hold up. Are those the same words? Because you know how English do. Yeah, you're talking about two different words. There's acclimate, ACCLIMATE, and then there's acclamate, ACCLAMATE. Okay? And so the difference is that acclimate, right? Acclimate is to become accustomed to, whereas acclamate is a shout of welcome. All right? A shout of welcome. Accla. All right, Fatima says, when Greta Thunberg returned to Sweden after being illegally detained, she was received with widespread acclamation from the people around the world. Yes, she was. Daisha says, the team's victory was celebrated with loud acclamation from their enthusiastic fans. That is correct. And let's get one more. LaShawn says, following Amanda Seales' heartfelt performance, the audience erupted in thunderous applause and shouts of acclamation, celebrating her talent and artistry. That's right. And I'm going to give you all a bonus. If somebody is supposed to be pleasuring you and they're not doing the job, please don't pretend with an acclamation, because then you're setting them up to live a lie. Okay, you're setting them up to live a lie. All right, we're going to bring on our guest for 60-second headlines. Let's get into it. Hold on. AmandaLand. 60-second headline. And I run down some news right quick.
Run it down, mama. Put us on.
Maureen!
Hi.
Welcome. Okay, so y'all have to know that when we come into the show, you have to put your name and you have to put your, like, you can put like your title, your organization, etc. Maureen said, powerful speaker. That's my title. Okay, powerful speaker. And I don't disagree. How are you doing? Where are you at?
I'm in Phoenix, Arizona.
How's that going?
It's hot. It's hotter than the devil's tank right now. So I've been inside a lot.
Now, Maureen, you do a lot of international commentary on your page, which I have been really appreciative of, because we had journalist Karen Attia on here recently, and Karen was talking about, that we just don't have enough Black women involved in the conversations on a global perspective, Black American voices particularly. So I wanted to just before we get into the topics, like, what interested you in being a voice in this space and in learning and expanding your knowledge beyond just a national perspective?
Well, I always had like a profound interest in world history. That was always like a thing that really spoke to my heart. Furthering my education in world history led me down a path of like parallels into the constant struggles that we have every day here in America and my experience as a Black woman. And furthering the education, I learned that there is a lot of crossing over, and it's still happening today. Not only that, I agree with Karen. There are not a lot of people that look like me that are speaking internationally. Everyone wants us to focus on our own situation. What happens in our own home stays in our own home, but they don't understand how all of these things are intertwined and all of them are pretty much working together. So if there's already enough people speaking here about what's going on domestically, maybe there can be someone that can help connect the dots globally, and we can take on all these issues together.
You hear that? We love it. Look, Cara Renee says she does such a great job reporting on things. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, well, no. And there's also just so much all the time, like everywhere. It's just really absurd.
All at once.
So let's get into our first story of the day, which I did talk about on my Instagram, but let's get into it here. These ICE
moments
raids.
ago, NBC News reporting that ICE is preparing to deploy tactical units known as special response teams to 5 Democratic-run cities. Those cities, Seattle, Chicago, Philadelphia, Northern Virginia, and New York. It's not clear if these raids will begin immediately, but all special response teams in those areas have been told to be ready to deploy.
Thoughts?
I have a lot of thoughts. There's a lot of things coming out of this situation. I think the one that's pretty much hitting the nail on the head is that these cities are major cities that are historically known to be home to Black and brown communities. So obviously that is at the surface of my mind. And a lot of questions are going through my brain right now. Like, what is the motive behind this outside of, them previously placing people in these Black and brown communities that they knew for a fact were not legal. So then you're going back and deciding to place a bunch of ICE detention centers and then coming in with raids. How is that going to affect everybody that already lives there, that has been living there, and that are American citizens? How is this going to put our everyday life in danger even further? It just feels like it's adding more fuel to the fire, and it's making things more muddy than actually, helping things.
Well, I've definitely seen a lot of people say, like, why are they going to democratic cities? And one thing I want to point out is that there are a lot more gun control laws in these cities. And so there is less likely of the amount of there's a lower number of the populace that is owning weapons. And so that also lowers the pushback to them in a violent fashion, right? In terms of a militia rising up. And I think there's also just the reality that these are heavily populated cities and they are trying to create a scenario where people will respond and they can legitimately claim martial law. And for those who don't know, once they claim martial law, the courts become irrelevant. It becomes a scenario where everyone is basically just at the behest of the executive in chief.
There's curfew. There's you lose all your natural rights as a citizen. You no longer, they can enter your home without even so much as having a warrant or any probable cause. They can just enter your home if they suspect you may be harboring someone. And what's to stop them from pretending to do the exact same thing that they did to Breonna Taylor? It's the same situation being seen over and over and over again, just remarket it and rebrand it.
Let me also remind y'all, though, that because America led to talk about the revolution in 1776, et cetera, et cetera. That was one of the things that was making people really upset in the colonies, was that the British was running up in everybody home real casual. Like the British would literally just come and post up in your house. Like, yeah, I live here now. Like, take care of me. Take care of me. And so even during the American Revolution, even though there was American forces that were fighting, y'all, the British soldiers would just be running up in the crib. And that is also what happens in Palestine, where people can just go up in your crib and be like, I'm in here now.
And the Nakba, that's exactly what they did. They were dropped off and told, since it was a British territory, that the Palestinian had to accept them. So they welcomed them with open arms. And in return, the Israelis stole their homes, stole everything that they owned, kicked them out, and began killing them off in mass numbers. Don't that sound familiar? That sounds exactly like the transatlantic slave trade, no?
It's very, very familiar. And I feel like a lot of people don't even know history to be able to recognize that it's familiar. That's the part that makes what you do so necessary, is because you're contextualizing and putting the dots together for folks that need to know that this is not a new thing, but also we can use history to give us some tips on how to challenge things, right?
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the Palestinian people, these stories are taking attention off of what's happening in Palestine. And I always want to make sure that we are raising up the Palestinian people and what is happening, because I know that folks feel like, oh, we're not paying enough attention to the Congo and we're not paying enough attention to the Sudan. And I'm going to keep it a buck with you. There isn't enough footage. Like there isn't, I don't know.
I get attacked on a daily about this. You're a dark-skinned Black female. You have Congolese blood in your veins. I know. However, there, like you said, there is not enough exposure, footage, or support. So we got to take any door that we can go through. And a lot of the times, these situations are connected.
Absolutely.
So you know what? If I got to help out over here, I'm going to do so because I care about these people, but I know that they'll, in return, come back and make sure they help me. They're uplifting our voices the same way we're uplifting theirs. Look at Malcolm X. Look at Nelson Mandela, and his grandson himself will tell you how the Palestinians helped further their cause back in 1994 to end up. You got to be willing to collaborate on issues that have the same enemy. It's the same enemy. It's just different locations.
So they created these like US run food checkpoints in Palestine, but what they created was mayhem. And here's a video that Motaz actually posted. mean, this is just so disheartening to see, and the chaos that they're causing is making it where they're literally trying to call these people chaotic as opposed to the situation chaotic. And then I'm watching the UK ambassador to Israel. No, the Israel ambassador to the UK sit up there and say, there is no problem with food in Palestine.
It's his way of basically invalidating pain in the same way that, you know, many of us Black African Americans have dealt with those slick comments like that. In the middle of your pain, they're twisting the knife and trying to say that there's no food issue. Meanwhile, he's had a meal. He's had several meals in the past few days, and their stomachs are touching their back. On my channel, I teach them how psychologically what starvation does to your brain and how it turns you into this animalistic version of yourself that you can't even recognize because you're trying to survive. And that was their intent from the beginning, to say, look at them, they're animals, they need us. When you cause the issue, in the same way you're doing it in the Congo and the Sudan, and the same way you're doing it here in America, and you've done for centuries. It's just neocolonialism, just repainted and rebranded.
For those on Instagram, if you want to hear what's being said by the beautiful, real Godiva goddess, Maureen Jonson, come on over here to YouTube, Amanda Seals TV. It is tagged in the bottom of the chat because that is where the real show is going on. You know, I will say we just saw the Freedom Flotilla make its way to Palestine. We saw that, you know, they were then, of course, intercepted by the Israel government. And we know that Greta Thunberg made it back. But you all, there's, let's see, there were 12 of them. There's 8 folks that are still in Israeli custody right now. So we still don't know what's going on with them or where their safety is or if they're being tortured, etc. Something else that's going on in relation to trying to break the siege and get food to Palestinians. 7,000 activists began a 300 vehicle convoy from Tunisia to Rafah. Wait, let me say it properly. To Rafah. To hopefully open the corridor. It's the Maghreb Resilience Convoy. It's the Maghreb Resilience Convoy's 300 vehicle caravan, and they left from Tunis on Monday morning before crossing the Libyan border on Tuesday. And listen, this is really important too because there's strength in numbers.
Yes.
Like people were saying, like, oh, this Freedom Flotilla, like, what are they going to do? Well,
so they've increased since then. The Samud convoy is the convoy that's leaving. They started in Morocco and then they picked up a few more buses in Tunisia. And as they go to each city, more and more people have, since what happened to the Madeleine, have joined in. So there'll be buses waiting at every stop that they make of people that are ready to join in on the fight. Basically, it's the same thing. You took out our one ship. Now thousands of us are coming. It quickly increased to over 10,000 people that are heading to that border right now to go knock on their door to let them know that the Palestinians, they got cousins that support them and that want to bring them aid.
I just got chills from the ping pong that just happened. Y'all saw that? It was like I brought the info, but then she expanded the info. That's what needs to be happening. Also want to remind y'all that, you know, the March to Gaza is still happening. So you have people that are joining to physically march to Gaza on foot. So you can go to marchtogaza.net. They actually start today, their march. And you know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing a lot of whites. I'm seeing a lot of whites. And I call those whites high quality whites. That's what I call them.
We call them spicy whites.
Spicy whites. Yeah. You know, and I saw people like, so there's been a lot of the Party for Socialism and Liberation, like they've been doing a lot of protests over the past few weeks. And specifically in the past few days, there's been a lot of protests that they are putting together. And I see people complaining like, why are there so many white people in the protests? What do y'all want? What do y'all want?
Don't know what they want. They don't know what they want. I'm proud of them. My spicy whites, they know. I'm proud of them.
Because my black body shouldn't be out there, but.
Thank you. You said something on Monday that resonated with my spirit that I've been saying this entire time. When you recognize your power as a white person and the privilege you have, and you point that in the right direction, mountains can be moved. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yes, so your whiteness should be a weapon against white supremacy.
Exactly.
If it ain't that, I don't even want you around me.
Exactly. And that's exactly what they're doing. But now it's being perceived as aggressive. Let it be perceived as aggressive, because I'd rather be perceived as aggressive in this direction, rather it be pointed in the opposite direction, because we've dealt with that for far too long.
Far too long. So the last story that I wanted to talk about is this thing going down in Georgia. So ICE has approved a new Georgia immigrant detention center following a Doge review. That whole sentence is mayhem. Doge review is oxymoronic. ICE approving a Georgia immigrant detention center. All of it. Y'all know how black Georgia is. Like, y'all know how, listen, and very immigranty. Okay? Very immigranty in Georgia. Immigranty is a term I've coined, so just go with it. Okay? It's not immigrant-ish. It's immigranty. So the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is moving forward to build, this is going to be the nation's largest immigrant detention facility. It's in Southeast Georgia. So it's actually very close to Florida.
Jacksonville, to be exact, is about 45 minutes away.
Duval, shout out to y'all. And according to Representative Buddy Carter, and now you know he racist. Anybody named Buddy Carter is racist. I mean, these are just facts. I can't make it up.
Last name Carter. Racist.
Buddy Carter. It's Buddy for me. Buddy. That just sounds like somebody who that name was passed down from the Klan. He's like Buddy Carter III in my mind.
It's giving Klan essence.
It's giving Klan essence. So he represents the state's first congressional district. And this is a part of their firm, a part of their private contract with firm GEO. Now, for those who don't know who the GEO group is, I need you to understand and really acknowledge this, because the GEO group are making majillions. I had to make up a word. They're making majillions of money off of what's happening with the documented immigrants. Do you want to speak to this at all?
Absolutely. They're making millions of dollars off of privately owned institutions that are strategically placed in urban neighborhoods that are normally known to house immigrants. For them to be making upwards of $600,000 annually off of each institution, and there being over 200 institutions in America, Alaska included, that's insane. How is that not modern day plantation? How is that not modern day slavery? Just rebranded.
And not even as pretty. Like, at least plantations were pastoral. This is going to be an industrial revolution of free labor, where people are once again chattel. And this year, the GEO stock is up 11%, trading at $31.28 per share in an otherwise down market. Why is this? Because they have made deals, and because the former lobbyist for the GEO group was the current Attorney General Pam Bondi, or who we like to refer to as Scam Barbie.
And get this, the GEO group has ties to that prison in El Salvador that we were currently speaking about, the Abrego case. They have ties to them. So they're all making money off of free labor. It's basically a mousetrap. So
this article that I found this in was on a site. Of course, now the journalist in me is very mad, but it was from a site that I just want to read you the last sentence of the article, because I was doing this fast. While the business of prisons might not be for every investor, there's no question that it is a thriving industry at this moment.
It just screams foaming at the mouth for slavery. They're getting exactly what they've been promised ancestrally, which is that they get to enslave a population and force them into indentured servitude.
There it is. Pretty gross.
Porn.
Maureen, where can people get more Maureen in their life?
They can get more Real Godiva Goddess at Real Godiva Goddess on Substack, on Instagram, TikTok. We're struggling on TikTok because they be trying to fight. They be wanting to tussle me every day, but that's okay. We still going. and here on YouTube. Currently, I'm actually raising money so that I can continue to build and get my own platform or my own website so that I can continue to bring the news with a comedic twist in the same exact way that you do it. So
Yay!
if you guys would like to donate, I do have everything posted on my Instagram and my TikTok. I take donations via PayPal, Cash App. Sorry to throw that out there, but I had to make sure.
No, don't apologize for that. Listen, every time I try to open an article at the Post or wherever, they're like, please give us money. We need money. Give us money.
That's what I'm saying. They get mad at me, and I'm like, y'all, I'm actually telling y'all the truth and keep y'all informed. Why y'all mad at me for wanting to pay my rent and grow?
The Washington Post is owned by Jeff Bezos, but we still have to pay for subscriptions. Explain
Thank you. Thank you for information that we can quite literally get from another source.
So cut it out. Well, Maureen, you are a pleasure. You are welcome back anytime. Y'all, if you got a couple of dollars, go and throw them over there at Real Godiva Goddess.
We have a goal. We have a $2,000 goal. So send it over.
You have a $2,000 goal. Where are you at right now?
I'm at 500. So
I'll just pay the rest of it.
Oh,
I'll just pay the rest of it. Yes, I will send you the rest of that money today.
Oh my God, thank you.
I thought your goal was like 20 racks. 2,000. I got you. I'll send you the rest of that today.
You are a blessing.
Send me where to send it to.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem. Just make sure you tell folks.
Listen, I'll be telling everybody. Okay.
We need more folks. We need more folks like you doing what you do. So if I can be a part of that and platform that, then that is money well spent. So thank you, sis.
And listen, when I make it to the Daily Show, I'm gonna be like, fuck girl, man.
Fuck a Daily Show. Fuck a Daily Show. When you get your own Maureen show.
Oh, okay, period. Yes. We manifested it.
That's a bunch of white bullshit over there too. All
okay,
right.
You don't have to be my first guest though.
Okay, that's the deal. Y'all saw it here. I'm Maureen's first guest. Thank you, Maureen. Send me the info and I'll send you the bread.
I got you. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Look at that. Shout out to Maureen. Go to follow Real Godiva Goddess on Instagrizzles. All right. Now we are very happy to bring in our next guest, our ambassador of the week. So let's go ahead and do that. AmandaLand. It's the AmandaLand ambassador.
I didn't know I was ambassador of the week.
You
I
are.
thought this was just whoa.
You are. You're
Crazy.
the ambassador to AmandaLand. Welcome. Y'all welcome. Okay, here's the thing. I always want to say Kei, but I think it's Kei.
A K, like the letter.
See, I had both of them wrong. All right, it's Kei Pritzker here. You guys, if you do not know about Kei Pritzker, you're a journalist at BT News, at BreakThrough News, as well as the director of the Encampments documentary. For those who do not know about the Encampments documentary, you should know by now at least. But we're going to play you a little clip just so that you can get hip to it.
That was the moment where students were like, we need to do something more.
What is threatening about divesting of One Piece?
And we call them forth, they have nothing!
So proud of you for putting this together. Just a moment. People on Instagram, you can't hear because the show is on YouTube. Go to YouTube, Amanda Seals TV, and then you can hear. And when you come in the chat, the folks will welcome you to the chat because that's what we do. Okay? Thank you, Melissa. Bonjour, bonjour. Kei, okay, real quick. Tell us how, I know you said this story 5 million times. That's why I said real quick because you already have the spiel. Tell us how the Encampments directing the Encampments documentary happened.
Yes, yeah. First thing I want to say is I didn't know you had Godiva Goddess on. I've been watching her videos for like a year and I love her so much. But I didn't know her name. I didn't know her actual name. So
Maureen!
if you're still in the room for some reason, love your videos. Keep doing your thing.
Love it.
But yeah, the encampment. So basically, yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, it's a film about the encampments movement for Gaza at Columbia and worldwide. And yeah, it really started, as Amanda said, I'm a journalist first and foremost. I'm not a film director. I don't want to be a filmmaker or anything like that. I don't want anything to do with the film industry. Quite
I don't blame you. I did it. I done it. I'm out of there.
Yeah. But I was there. I was at Columbia covering it as a journalist. Shortly after October 7th, there were all these student protests, especially at Columbia, where the student body was very organized, but also the donors there were very organized pro-Israel donors who were, if people remember, calling on Columbia to crack down on anti-Semitism. And what that ended up leading to was the school banning SJP and JVP, which are two pro-Palestinian groups. So that was actually the first time I went down there, was when these two groups got banned. I went there to cover it as a journalist.
Okay.
And I had been covering it, on and off, and I got in touch with the student leaders. I got to know who they were. So when they were setting up their encampment, they were like, hey, Kei, they're not listening to us. They're not listening to our demands. They're just continuing to attack us. So we feel the need to escalate this. So we're setting up this encampment. Can you come and cover it as a journalist? So I showed up there the first day, and, it was pretty straightforward. It seemed fairly uneventful, to be honest. It was very tame. But, obviously, I'm sure most people have seen, they saw the arrests that happened on that lawn, the students being carried off in handcuffs by their own administration and by the NYPD. And that was really the moment that triggered the worldwide encampments movement. So, I got there the day before, so I saw all that happen. And, when that happened, it was like a matter of hours after, when people were just setting up encampments around the country. So, at that point, I was like, okay, this is like a much bigger thing. I'm going to stay here. But even months after, we started the process of turning it into a film in June. I was going to make like a long YouTube video, like a news report about it. And we sent it to our friends at Watermelon Pictures, because my editor-in-chief was like, let me just check with them and see if like they feel like this could be made into anything bigger. I don't know. And I was like, Ben, just post it. Like, I'm done with it. I've been working on it for a month. And we sent it to them, and they're like, please do not post this. It's very important footage. So yeah, that's when we started trying to make a film.
Did you enjoy the process from that point? Did you enjoy the documentary process?
Honestly, not really. If I could be totally honest, no one's asked me that, so I guess just to speak my truth, honestly, not really. That's a whole new world to me. Anyone that knows me knows I don't really even watch movies like that. I'm like I'm not. So this was like, there are all these, artistic layers and all this stuff. I was learning a lot for sure, but it was like a whole new world to me. And like, you're having to share all these creative decisions with people, which I'm not used to. And I'm sort of like a perfectionist. I have my vision of things. So it was great. And, my co-director, Michael Workman, he's brilliant. He's a filmmaker that he does that for his career. And he really taught me a lot about like, no, Kei, you can't do that. Like, this is how you do it. So,
do you remember any of the no Kei, you can't do that?
Honestly, I wish I did. Come back to me. I'll
okay. Mull over it. Only because I love teaching people about like the process that we've gone through when we're creating things. Like you're doing something and you're like, yeah, this makes perfect sense. And someone's like, absolutely not. That would be foolish to put this clip at the beginning. And let me tell you why. Because if you put this clip at the beginning, the audience doesn't feel the need to stay, and you learn storytelling.
There was so much of that. There was so much of like, we don't know if we do it this way, like maybe like people might get bored. It's like thinking back on this, obviously a lot of things happened before our release that changed the whole context of this film, but we were so concerned that people wouldn't be interested in it. They would get bored of it and they turn it off. We thought in the beginning, in the first 10, 20 minutes that people would get bored with it, with all the context of like, oh, this is what divestment means. This is how Columbia's complicit in China. We thought people would be like, oh, this is like too much.
Too heady.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I think people are really overdue for that. There's an audience of folks that are really thirsty for understanding that which they feel has been kept from them. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's what it feels like for a lot of us. It feels like betrayal. Like, what? All of this was going on and I never knew.
Yeah, and I feel like I mean, in a lot of the, I mean, whether it's Maureen or myself or like a lot of these the sort of new media. I mean, I think it's so much of this information has been like gate kept by the corporate media, by the truth teller, the media makers. And they put it in such complicated terms, and they try to overcomplicate things that aren't actually really complex. They have all this nomenclature, the financial, all this stuff, and they're like, you could never understand this. That's why the experts are going to explain it to you. And it's like,
Yes.
the students in our film, I mean they're students, and they're infantilized by the media. Oh, these are just kids that saw a TikTok. They don't really know what's going on at Columbia. They don't understand the finances. And it's like, no, they understand it perfectly. They explained it perfectly in the film, in a way that is, it is as simple as it really is, which is that Columbia profits off genocide and private prisons and the whole host of everything.
My Columbia degree is right there.
Oh,
Okay.
you have one of those.
Oh, you have one of those.
Hey, no, I mean, no hate. My parents too. Both my parents went to Columbia. So.
I mean, I will say I went as a graduate degree. I went for my graduate degree, and I was in the Institute for Research in African American Studies. So I was in a very particular sector. Okay. But you have one of those is
no, I have a degree from George Washington University, which is like a recruit is a front for CIA recruitment, literally. So I'm not saying that in any judgmental way. I was there right there with you.
So tell me this. I wanted to talk to you about, and you kind of segued into this already. You have become, I will tell you, my first video that I saw of you was, I feel like you were explaining, I can't remember what it was, but you explained something to me that I didn't know. And that is, I feel, a place where journalism has really like lost the plot. It feels like folks in those spaces that we were talking about, the truth teller, the legacy media, like they're no longer teaching as much as just kind of mouthpiecing. That's what it feels like when I'm reading. But when you do your work as a journalist, it feels like something else. Can you tell me more about like your process as a journalist and why you choose to do it that way and how you fit into this space in a unique way?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, because that's really what it comes down to. And I could kind of tell you were asking about, what were the different decisions in the film. Like, these are really important things, I think, to share, because, we all need to, it's the process of doing these things, of like learning how to present information and just trying it, is like a learning process in and of itself. But anyway, my way of thinking about it really is like, I'm trying to intervene in like all the confusion, because the reality is we're going up against like a multi-billion-dollar media propaganda apparatus that is working on behalf of all of the corporations. I see someone said people are really just out here talking. Yeah, like I'm really just out on Instagram just talking.
No, you're not. She's not talking about you. She's talking. Oh, you should know something about my chat. My chat is the most high quality, high vibe chat. No one in here is saying anything sideways to you ever.
No. I mean, I think that's so funny, because it's like, it really is just, I mean, we really are just people talking, but that's so threatening to the mainstream media, because it's like they try to pretend like no one else can do this. We're the like no one else could understand what we understand, so we have to tell you the truth. It's like, no, it could just be two people talking on YouTube. Like literally, it's and that's where things are shifting, because I see what I do is really responding to the media, responding to these like messed up narratives, because we're up against a multi-billion-dollar corporate propaganda machine. And, I've been in their newsrooms. I've seen what they're operating with. It's like they have the ability to be there first, to, set the media narrative first. They have the privileged access to all the politicians and the press corps and all this. So it's like, my goal is not really so much to beat them to the punch. Right. It's so much it's to take what they're saying and bring forward the context that they're leaving out, which is really everything. I mean, I think that's what a lot of the media lies comes down to, is they will often be saying things that are semi-factual. They might be saying things that this did really happen, but the way they're framing it, they're highlighting context that is like very irrelevant, or they're leaving out context that is highly relevant. And you see this all the time with like whether it be like the way the media talks about people who are like brutally murdered by the police, and they bring in all this context about this person's their past, and they had a speeding ticket when they were 25, and this and the other, and it's like
they're a kid's soccer coach.
Yeah, and
it goes both ways, by the way, because it goes both ways. When it's a white man who's murdered his entire family, they'll be like,
he's a soccer
he was a soccer coach.
Killer in the community. Yeah.
Yes.
But also, like, when they talk about politicians that literally mass murder children for a living, they completely leave out, oh, this person scammed their way through school. They are responsible for the mass killing of children. They just completely, oh my God, well, how could the congressman have known, like, so anyway, the point is, I see myself as really trying to bring forward context and, just information that I feel the media is leaving out, because I feel like most of the lies today are really like lies through obfuscation. Sorry, I don't know how to say that word, but it's this complex thing where like you have two media outlets. You have the corporate media and people like us who are working with the same set of facts but come to completely different conclusions, and it's because of things like context. And then one other thing I want to say is, I also take very seriously like the dumbing down of America, and the fact that like the people in power want us to not be reading, to not be studying, to just be addicted to our phones, to be scrolling this and the other. And like that is a reality. 54% of adults in this country can only read at a 6th grade level. And sorry, am I? Oh, okay. So I try to incorporate that a lot into my journalism too, is I try to make things as simple as possible. And that's really, I think, where I've been trying to develop my craft over the last few years, is like, I want to explain things like the way I wish they were explained to me. And I try to take like big concepts and try to boil them down into like, I'm just talking to you on the couch. We're just hanging out after a protest or whatever. And we're just talking. So, yeah, I really try to take the fact that there is a massive literacy, a manufactured, deliberately engineered literacy crisis in this country. And I try to use that as sort of the main context for the videos I'm making.
So how did you get here? Like, what shaped you into this type of journalist, into this type of person?
I mean, honestly, I was really influenced by a lot of like journalists myself. Abby Martin is like the central person that comes to mind. Like when I was in high school, I used to watch her show, and I didn't even know what she was doing was journalism. But there were so many people online. Yeah, back in the days when the internet was still like a free place and there was freedom of speech on there.
Right.
They weren't like, rewiring our brains. There were a lot of people who were just going out with a camera and just going out on the street, reporting on things, making videos like we make, talking about current events, talking about the world. And I learned everything through them. I hated school, to be honest. I skipped class. I was such a bad student.
That surprises me. And you know what it is? It's the glasses. I always tell them, like, the glasses make us think that anyone who wears glasses, we're like, they're a nerd. Like, we're in school.
Right. This is just a reminder that I can't see, guys.
Okay. Kei was out here flipping birds and skipping class.
Yeah. And I really learned a lot of what I know about the world from like online content creators in high school and college. And I learned, basically that everything I was being taught in school was a lie. Yeah. That, this whole narrative about this is the freest country in the world, you have it, you're so lucky to be here. You're so lucky to have won the lottery of birth to be here. And I learned about the Iraq War, and I learned about Afghanistan. I learned about all the lies of the so-called war on terror. I learned about how they're actually creating a police state in America. This is not a free country at all. All these different things. And I started to just, I mean, it's like when you learn a lot of these things that I learned about Palestine, it's like when you see these things, you can't unsee them. And it's like, how can I just go on with my life and just pretend like everything's normal? Just, pretend like, I can just go to work and be fine while there are people out in the world who are starving, who are under U.S. bombs and sanctions. How can I live with myself just, going to work, having a career, making money, these things? So, I was actually an activist. I was a anti-war. I was in SJP in college. I was in the Palestine group in college, and I was involved in a lot of like anti-war organizing. And it was actually someone who was in those circles that was like, "Hey, you would be good in journalism." So I was actually an activist before, and I see.
Yeah, I gotta put a pin in that.
Yeah. Okay.
What was your upbringing like that made you this person?
Okay. That's okay. Now you're just really cutting right to the core. Okay. So, I grew up in Weston, Connecticut. I grew up in Connecticut, and when
I'm like, once you say Connecticut, I'm like, cardigan.
Yes, it's. I mean, it's exactly what it sounds like. You just hear. I think my connection sucks or something.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know if it's me or you. I can hear you, but you're frozen in Weston, Connecticut. Okay. You're back.
It's me. I'm just gonna keep talking through those freezes, but
okay.
Yeah. So I'm Connecticut. Yes, it is exactly what you think it's like. I grew up in a very wealthy part of Connecticut, where there was no economy. People weren't working with their hands. Mainly people would commute to New York and they'd, speculate on stocks and bonds and all this bullshit. They'd be, moving numbers on a spreadsheet and come home to their Connecticut mansions. And, my dad, he was a chef, and he owned a restaurant. He cooked for very nice, overpriced food for people in Manhattan. He was very good at what he did. But that was, my socioeconomic background is sort of upper middle class background. And I think that had a lot to do with my sort of, I don't want to call, people have feelings about this word radicalization. I don't really like it because I feel like what I believe in is common sense, but
it's not, I mean, it is radical in the context of where we are. It shouldn't be.
Yes, exactly.
But it is.
Yes. But I feel like growing up in a place like that had a very profound, that is deeply intertwined with where I am today, because I grew up in one of those, liberal towns where everyone voted for Obama twice, and it was like, and it was the 2012 election when people were going for Obama a second time, when one of my friends started telling me about, you might laugh at this, but Ron Paul and the libertarian candidate in the Republican Party. And he was like, go home and check this guy out. And I checked him out, and he was talking about how America is going around the world, policing it, invading entire countries, dictating to people how they should live, killing people, and just like absolutely causing, all this mayhem and causing people to hate America justifiably. And I was like, and spending trillions of dollars while people are starving at home and all this. And I was like, what the hell is happening? And this led me down a path, long story short. The war on terror really led me to realize, like, wow, I just live in this like privileged bubble, and there are all these people in the world who are suffering. This was during the Occupy Wall Street movement too. I was learning about the bank bailouts and how Obama and Bush, both the Republicans and Democrats, were just bailing out these Wall Street bankers. And I was like, this whole system is a lie. Everything I've been taught about the country I live in is a lie. And all these people around me who are so nice and liberal, and they voted for Obama and all this, they're supporting a guy who's drone striking weddings in Pakistan, who's, indefinitely detaining people in Guantanamo Bay who are completely innocent. I was like, this whole system's a lie. So I kind of spiraled after that. I was that guy that was like on Facebook being like, you support someone who kills children, like. But I need an outlet for all this energy. And when I, got to college, I was like, I'm dedicating my life to exposing this, basically.
And so tell me about how you got to Breakthrough News.
Yeah, I mean, so a bunch of people I organized with were in the Answer Coalition, in the Party for Socialism and Liberation. They, were like, hey, we need a left-wing media outlet. We need like an anti-imperialist media outlet. And Yeah, they were like, hey, you don't have a job right now. You're working. You're a barista right now. Why don't you come do this? Like, we need someone who can do this. I mean, it was totally random. It was very they were just like, you might be good at this. So
you also have the jawline for it. You should know that. They're talking about it in the chat.
Okay. Well, I mean, I hate that is an aspect of it, is like that. But anyway, whatever. I digress.
Honestly, Piers Morgan is one of the ugliest humans on the planet.
Yeah,
like
true.
Inward and outward, and he's popping. So it's like it's not really necessarily a requirement, but it's nice.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I will use my jawline for good. But
there you go. That's all we're asking for. That's it.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, it was an idea that, look, we don't have like a left-wing media outlet. We need a media outlet to counter the multi-billion-dollar propaganda empire of the bourgeoisie. So, so we started BreakThrough News with nothing, and I wasn't even doing the videos and the reporting. That came later. I was just, for 2 years, I was just editing the videos, and then they were like, hey, you know how to edit, you know how to shoot, maybe you should take a stab at this. So I did, and my videos were fairly successful. So
yeah,
that's how I got here. Yeah.
Your videos are successful because and the reason I point out the jawline is because like it's a visual medium, right? So like you really also want to be able to trust the person who's speaking, and I feel like your delivery of how you share the information is actually very clear and precise, and it's very much obviously not for show. Like there isn't a lot of drama around it. It's very much like, this man just wants us to know. Listen. And I think that there's also just a certain there's an honesty about the way that you deliver the information that I think is really something that a lot of people are looking for these days, because to your point, many people have now awakened to the reality that whoever they were getting information from is not necessarily trustworthy. These brands are not necessarily trustworthy. And I know for a lot of us, that came in the context of a genocide.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't necessarily something that was kind of banal. It was the worst possible thing is how we found out. So you're the worst people. And we're watching the BBC now still continue to purport this. I mean, we thought Piers Morgan may have had a glimmer of common sense for like 2 weeks, and then the other day he was like, so I mean, what you mean about the Freedom Flotilla? That was just all just a performance. Shut up.
Yeah. No, it's true, and it's like you have to wonder like who it, well, like what is it? Who is it that's making you say this stuff? And like I feel like everyone has this sort of, you can sort of tell when these mainstream outlets like hit their wall, like they hit the limit of what they're allowed to say, and you can kind of tell like you are not able to go past, you are not able to go deeper than this because of something. I don't know what it is. I don't know who's telling you, like I don't know what is so shiny and beautiful and tempting that you are refusing to take the next step. But I think people are starting to realize that, exactly like you're saying. People are starting to realize actually the people who have been upheld as these truth tellers are the worst people you met. And it's, the reason I try to present the way, I do, which you are exactly correct. I don't want it to be, this sort
sensational.
Sensational, because it doesn't need to be. And the reason I want to, it's not about me, or it's not about my personality or anything. It's just about the information I'm presenting. And the reason I try to do it that way is because, like, I remember, like, I was once on the other end of this. Like, it's not about me. It's not about any individual. It's not about any personality. It's about the information and about the truth. And I was once that person who was like, oh my God, everything I know is a lie. So, it's not, I am you, I was once the person who was waking up. Now it's my responsibility to pass that on to the next person. And I'm going to pass that on to someone else who's going to do what I'm doing, 10, 20 years from now. So it's just a cycle of truth telling and consciousness expansion.
I mean, once upon a time, I feel like the goal for a journalist, I mean, and this is a recent shift, but the goal for a lot of journalists was to be at a big paper, you know, or at a big network. Like that was kind of the trajectory. You never planned to be on camera. You were making lattes. So where do you find your heart being pulled at the present in terms of the work that you do?
I mean, you know, honestly, this really, I mean, this really is, it does feel like home to me, but, you know, I don't want to say that there's no definitive anything. Everything is in constant flux. Everything is changing. If I'm called to something else, I will do that thing. The reason I do what I do now is because I see that as the place I'm most useful, and it's the thing I think I've specialized my skills in most. So, you know, I'm going to keep doing that, but any movement takes a lot of different people. Like, it's not like everyone can be doing what I'm doing, and it's not like I can be doing what everyone else, you know, it's like you need journalists just as much as you need artists. You need artists just as much as you need electricians. You need electricians just as much as you need, I don't know, like school teachers. Like, yeah, everyone just has to use the skills they've acquired through whatever random fate and chance in life in the service of the movement. So right now, I think this is the best thing I can do is, like, we are fighting a battle of ideas, but who knows? Like, they might shut down Instagram. Like, you never know what the future, they might shut down BreakThrough News. So it's like, if that happens, I don't know. I might be trying to, you know, I might be out there like trying to organize Amazon workers. I don't know, you know? So it's like, I will go wherever the struggle needs me.
I guess that brings me to my last question, which is, you mentioned, you know, that there's a bunch of people and roles needed in the movement. What is the movement to you?
Wow. I think the movement is really just a slow and gradual recognition of the truth of the matter. I think that is the first, that is the root of all this. I mean, you know, they say that the first casualty in war is the truth. I think the first casualty in this whole life, this whole system, has been the truth. It's all built on one big lie, which is that we can't come together, that we can't all get along, that, you know, that we live, that we're just inherently, we were just built and we were born to just hate and compete and, you know, be at each other's throats. And I think out of that one central lie comes all these lies about, you know, there's not enough food to go around, there's not enough housing to go around, you know, people of different races and nations and languages can never get along, they just hate each other, you know, that there will always be violence against women, that, you know, men are just, you know, these brutal creatures and all this. Right. These are all just lies that come out of the same old lie that is told by this one small group of people, these elites that just want to cling on to these worldly possessions, and they just want, you know, they just want more and more and more. And it's that simple, quite frankly. And I think what we call the movement is really just everyone coming to this realization. I see someone saying decolonizing our minds through any nexus, whether it's you learned it through Palestine, or you learned it because, you know, your father was imprisoned, or you learned it because, you know, you saw the media censorship online, you saw some journalists, you know, whatever brought you here, you are all responding to different manifestations of the same fundamental lie that we're being told, which is that we can't, that we don't live in a world of abundance, that we don't live in a world that can be peaceful and, you know, live in harmony. So yeah, I don't know if that answers.
You better preach. You better preach, Kei. You might get called to the altar after this is all done. Well, thank you so much. And folks, so please tell folks where they can get more Kei Pritzker.
Yeah, I'm on BreakThrough News at BT Newsroom. My personal handle is just my name. You know, if you want to reach out, I respond. Yeah.
So there y'all have it. Go to BT Newsroom. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will continue to watch and learn from you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
You guys, this was a show today. James, come here. Y'all, one of my best friends in the world just walked in the house, and he's never been to the house before. the show. You smell good, black man. In these dicky shorts. You are so from Florida. Yay! Into the Woods. Oh no, that's Michael. You want the Into the Woods duet? You got to get Michael Scott. That's Michael Scott. All right, y'all. We had an incredible show today. I am so proud of myself. And I'm so proud of y'all. Let's get into it and close this out on a high note with our PSA. AmandaLand. PSA. Man, listen. I spent the last 3 days on a bus with a rainbow coalition of folks from the interfaith community, from organizing community. And I got to tell you, it was, I would say, maybe the most impactful 72 hours of my life. I was on this bus with individuals who have dedicated their lives to not just organizing and not just faith leadership, but grounding that in having a political perspective that understands that we must apply community in literal ways, not in just these theoretical ways. And that means putting it through legislation. That means putting it through economics. And that also means putting it through action. They, the faith leaders that were there, they believe that being Christian is about applying that awareness in all of those spaces. And the amount of high quality conversations that we were having, where I was learning about different authors, where I was learning about different ideologies, where I was learning about different history, etc., and being able to have all of this exchange, it was so expansive to my heart and soul. Then we were in DC on the first night, and we got to, well, first we were in Newark at Delaney Hall, and that is the detention center in Newark. And we had so many people that joined us, Latinos, old whites, young whites. We had Black folks, we had Asian, across the spectrum. And they were all there to just be with us in community as we spoke about our freedom ride that we were going on to bring awareness to democratic rights, to workers' rights, and of course to immigrant rights. And we thought it was just going to be us there, but no, people came. And then while we're there in front of the Delaney Hall doing the press conference, people are driving by, in solidarity. Then we got on the bus and we went to DC, and we went to the Metropolitan AME Church, which is a 250-year-old church that was involved in not only the Underground Railroad, but also in providing refuge for immigrants when they came here. And they too were saying, this is a part of our fight. This is our fight. These ICE detentions, these ICE kidnappings, this is our fight. We are one of the oldest Black churches in the nation, and it is our fight. Because as Christians, if we are not fighting to protect people from fascism, what are we doing? What are we doing? And if we're withholding that because of political decisions, then we are actually buying into the imperialist efforts to divide and conquer. Then we went from there down to Raleigh, and we went to a rally with the USSW, the Union of Southern Service Workers. And these are the folks that have put together a union that supports workers at grocery stores, workers at fast food joints, workers at hospitals, etc. And they were doing a solidarity rally with the SIEU, which is a huge union that supports service workers. And at the time, its California representative, David Huerta, had been kidnapped and had not been released. Now, I say all of this to say that what I got to experience on this journey was a rainbow coalition of hearts and minds. And that has always been the biggest fear of the oppressor, is the building of a rainbow coalition. And so when I see Black folks or Latino folks or Arab folks or white folks saying, oh, I'm not going to help those folks because and the reason has to do with the actual oppressor, I say you're letting them win and they're going to come for you too. If the goal has always been to divide and conquer, then to me, the root of solving and the root of challenging and the root of eventually impeding that goal is to actually create that rainbow coalition against all odds. So all you blacks that don't have my back because I'm about that rainbow coalition, you ain't with me. And I'm fine with that because I have a rainbow coalition that is continuing to grow and to build and to strengthen, that understands that what sets us apart is less about our race, et cetera, et cetera. It's our values that be ending up setting us apart at the end of the day. It makes our race and our culture as sets apart the way that the oppressor attacks us. I'll tell you that. And so we always make sure we keep that at top of mind, that this is not a colorblind coalition. However, I want to make it abundantly clear that in my spaces, nothing keeps you from here except your actions. Your race don't keep you from here. Your sexuality don't keep you from here. Your gender don't keep you from here. Your class don't keep you from here. It is simply your actions and your values that will keep you out of this space. What keeps you in this space is your commitment to understanding that your curiosity, your love, your willingness to expand is your greatest power. And anything impeding that is what you're fighting. AmandaLand.
PSA.
Hey, come on now. What's up? Show your love. Show your love. I want y'all to know this was James's idea. James, who you saw walk up on here earlier, this was his idea. He was like, you know what, on your show, you need to have like a pass the plate moment. And that's what this is. Hit me in the cash app, baby. Drop a super, baby. We had a great show today. I was gone, I was on a bus away, but I'm back in the building and the show was hitting. Shout out to Maureen and Kei. Big ups to everybody who dropped some money. Oh my God, we got $200. We got $200 submissions today. Oh my God. Y'all are really showing your love. I feel so invigorated from being on the road with these folks and from being in community with high quality people. And when I tell you, that is not something to take for granted. And that is why we do this show. And yes, I am going to be doing the show once a week starting in July, starting in August, but that should not change how we show up in this space. So big ups to everybody right here who has made this space such a beautiful place here at Views from AmandaLand. Remember, you can follow me on Substack. You can follow me on the YouTubes right here. You can put a like. You can follow me. I'm back posting on Instagram for only temporarily while things are heating up and there needed to be some information provided to people about how to prepare. I'm there. Okay. I was on the Freedom Ride. I wanted to make sure people knew about the Freedom Ride. So while I was there. But don't get comfortable. Because I don't want to stay there with them low quality people, them low vibey people. Because I'm going to be the first people to come and knock on my proverbial door like, hey, I was wrong before. I was wrong. So can I come be a part of y'all clique? And we're going to be like, oh my God, fine. Go plant some tomatoes. That's what's going to be. There's that. So make sure to also go and sign up for my newsletter. Please go to AmandaSeals.com. We have a lot of updates that are coming, and I want you all to be up into it. Up into it. I'm going to pause that. That was a pause. So go to AmandaSeals.com, sign up for the newsletter. You all keep your vibes high. Make sure you got your affirmations in check. Look in the mirror. Remind yourself who you are. Remind yourself where we are. And then get back to work. Tomorrow, I am going to be hosting the Proyecto Faro benefit that they do annually. So I'm really happy to be lending my talents to those folks over there at Proyecto Faro. If you don't know, they are a nonprofit organization that works with immigrants here in Rockland County. So shout out. And again, You are not alone. We are here with you. Will. I be cracking myself up for real. Okay. I be cracking myself up for real. And that's something that all of us need to do. It's something that all of us need to do. You know what else is something that all of us need to do? We all need to take a 30 seconds of stillness. Peace, y'all. 30 seconds of stillness. I enjoyed laughing and learning with you. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And tell your friends. Also, listen to the podcast. It's available everywhere pods are casted. Listen ad-free by subscribing to Patreon Amanda Seals. Come on and join the Seals Squad. Views from AmandaLand. Live 10 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Wednesday, with content on Thursday and Friday at YouTube Amanda Seals TV.
Smart, funny, and